Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing fantastic. And that you're all having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe. It is a free, I just hit my hand. Why do I do that? It is a free and easy way to support the channel as I upload daily, and have been doing so since 2016. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. The atmosphere is nice. It feels jolly. And I'm not talking about Christmas. It is wonderful to see that everyone is kind of in a... we're not quite euphoric yet. The euphoric phase is usually the year after the halving has actually taken place. You'll see it's going to be a bit of a doozy. But where we are right now is like an extreme case of optimism for prices, where they're going to go, where Bitcoin's going to be in the next couple of weeks. And I mean, at this point, it is 4-5 weeks away. The anticipation for Bitcoin basically blowing the roof or the top off the pot. People keep saying really weird things. I don't know if you saw the video. It was like a day or two ago where the guy was like, melting faces. And I was like, oh, okay, you can cool down, buddy. Because so much has been going on and we keep seeing momentum, and thus far, any dips that we have actually seen in price have usually been erased over the course of a day or two. Momentum is quite in the air, with expectations of what the SEC is potentially going to look like next year, what crypto regulations in the US are possibly going to be, if any at all, or how light-handed they might actually end up being. What else is there? It's basically a lot of Bitcoin price momentum. Bitcoin maximalists and bulls are running at full steam right now. Everyone who loves Bitcoin is letting it be known that their asset is not too far away from being the #1 asset on the planet. We heard from the guy from BlackRock who says that he thinks that Bitcoin's market cap is going to reach 50 trillion US dollars, essentially a 30-40x from where it currently is right now in price. And everyone's just generally optimistic. It says Bitcoin surge has caused nearly $700 million in leveraged positions to be liquidated, with most liquidations affecting long positions. Bitcoin has re-entered the spotlight as analysts are forecasting six-figure price targets, not just one of them. Veteran trader Peter Brandt predicted that Bitcoin could reach 125,000 US dollars by the end of this year. He's kind of nearly smack dab in the middle, where a lot of the other analysts have been falling. What's this guy's name? Michael Saylor recently announced that he apparently is having a New Year's bash at his residence, and the theme is going to be $100,000 Bitcoin, which is like a bit gauche, if you understand the term. Because he has all the Bitcoin. So, of course, he would logically be celebrating. But I mean, like, I can't imagine going to someone's house and them basically celebrating on New Year's how rich that they are. It's kind of like, oh, okay, I think I'll go. But analysts have been saying for a while, and this is what I was saying around summertime. Usually in January, we tend to get a lot of the halving's coming. Here's what's happening during the halving and after the halving. We get a lot of, the word's not wish-wash, but a lot of different levels as to where people think Bitcoin's price is going to go. By the time we got to March and April, that begun to smooth out a bit. And by the time we got to summer, it was weird because every analyst kept on saying the exact same thing. There's always a someone on YouTube who's like, Bitcoin's going down to 15,000. Bitcoin's going to 18,000. I don't know, out of 50,000. I don't know if we can go past that or stay above that. But every analyst was like, yeah, by the end of the year, we're going to be over 100,000. Yeah, by mid-December, we're going to be at $150,000. And I was like, huh. Well, that's weird that everyone has the exact same number, especially when it was like 18 different analysts at the exact same time. I guess it's also just kind of nice. I mean, at least for me, from this perspective, because I get annoyed a lot of times personally over the years when the market's doing great, everyone's happy, things are going good. There's no real bumps in the road. The road is flat as can be. We can see where we're going, and then there's someone in the backseat who's like, most cars don't have doors. That if you open the door and then like jumped out of it, like you wouldn't be driving anymore. And it's like, why are you saying these things as we're driving on a nice smooth road? But everyone's sitting still. Everyone's enjoying themselves. I know it sounds one thing. I've been here for so long in this space. Every year there's always people who just like exude negativity about the market. There's none of that. Like, it's actually weird how calm and happy. Like, that's the weird part, how happy that everything actually is. And even Peter Brandt tends to be more conservatively bullish than other people in that he will announce, let's say everyone else is like a million. Peter Brandt will go 600,000, like that kind of thing. He's still like bullish on the numbers, but he'll pull back a lot in his expectations. So for him to even say 125,000 when the highest thus far that we've seen for this year expected price prediction has been 150, it's like, I and many other people would definitely not be upset with a $125,000 Bitcoin, because that means the other coins have also like pumped, like the market just continues going a lot higher. So no one would be upset with this. Using something that he is calling the Bayesian, Bayesian. How do people keep coming up with all these things? I mean, there's so many different. The Bayesian probability, a statistical method that evaluates future outcomes based on historical trends. Brandt argues that Bitcoin's current market behavior resembles past patterns that signal strong bullish runs. The numbers, in case you've been missing it over the course of the last, I want to say 2 weeks. It's definitely been around 2 weeks exactly. People think that if we hit 125 or 150 by the end of December, we are looking at anywhere from, here we go, anywhere from $500,000 to a $1 million Bitcoin by sometime at the end of 2025. We went over, I won't go over all the factors, but in one of the last videos, we were going over like this perfect storm kind of category, and it's like 11 different things. Like actually 11, not a joke. Like, there's so much happening in every different direction. And all these things, we've been told by analysts, set us up for a 200,000 Bitcoin, 350, 400,000, if they all come to fruition. But now they're all like beginning to shape and form around us. So expectations are, at least in my direction, I think 500K is probably realistic if we hit 150,000 by the end of this year. But I mean, even more so, if we hit a $300,000, $400,000 Bitcoin, I don't think anyone's going to be crying with a $12,000 Ether, a $7 Cardano, a $9 XRP. I don't think many people are going to be upset. After surpassing $80,000, which was apparently like the level that we had to pass, Bitcoin is experiencing a new price discovery phase. Its first one since late 2020. Bitcoin's weekly chart broke key resistance levels, triggering a bullish outlook across short and long-term metrics. The milestone has promoted multiple analysts to set ambitious targets. Brandt's projection of 125 is one of the more optimistic forecasts, though others have set benchmarks ranging from, like I said, 100,000 to 150,000. That seems to be the standard. That seems to be, and I think 125 is kind of like and I phrase this lightly, a given, more or less, simply because of the, not Halloween, of the Thanksgiving effect, which we hopefully should see come into play very, very soon. The Thanksgiving effect, for those of you who don't know or weren't here for that video or weren't here the last couple of bull runs, is that historically, every year of the halving, we do well on Thanksgiving. And for a while, people couldn't figure out why. And then they realized it was because people go to see their families on Thanksgiving. Got it. But then they also basically sit at the table and brag about how much money they've been making. It sounds like a joke, but like it's the year of the halving and the year after. Apparently, people sit at the dinner table, they eat dinner, and at some point, they or someone else goes, hey, you've been in the market. You must have made some money. Or that person goes, hey, the market's looking pretty good. I made some money. People begin to talk about it. People take out their phones. They download Coinbase. They start buying crypto. The price goes up, especially now because of the supply constraint that we are currently under. A lot of people keep forgetting that while everything else might be wonderful and gorgeous and amazing right now, that there a huge reason why we keep seeing these like jumps. If you look at prices in like 3%, 4%, like it's like nearly a straight line up, is mainly because of the supply crunch. The efforts of all these wealthy people buying up all of your crypto has basically resulted in every time that there is a large purchase across multiple people or just one party, it is going to cause prices to jump up higher. Yeah. Very nice to see the optimism. You don't understand. We've had some years, and even, the last 2 years weren't that bad, like bear-wise. I'm air quoting there because we've had some before where everyone's so negative. And like I told everyone back in 2022, when the entire Sam Bankman-Fried FTX thing was happening, I was like, you're being fear-mongered. Like, people are telling you to be more afraid than you actually should. And now it's all making a lot of sense. They were basically making sure that you were terrified, that you thought something was wrong with Bitcoin so that you would sell off your coin so that basically the rich people could buy it. That's how things always end up working. So congratulations to everyone who's been diligently dollar cost averaging and or just buying over the course of the last couple of years. You are going to set yourself and your family up for a pretty big windfall. Yeah, that's the Peter Brandt. Says $125,000 by the end of the year. And yeah, let's move on. My nose is still a bit stuffed, so I do apologize. I was talking to someone and they were like, are you sick? And I was like, do I sound sick? And they were like, yeah, you sound. I was like, okay. In my mind, I sound completely normal, but I assume my nose that I can't breathe through is causing a problem. According to Dante Disparte, that is a very bougie name, stablecoin issuer of Circle's chief strategy officer and head of global policy. That's a long title. The UK is expected to introduce stablecoin regulations within the coming months. Yes, for those of you who somehow missed it, I don't know how you did. Stablecoins were the topic of this year. It was completely insane. I don't really understand the fascination with it. A number of countries have more or less let go of the idea of creating a central bank digital currency. They've swapped that for the creation of a stablecoin, which is kind of basically the exact same thing. The issue before being is that these countries could not agree on using each other's coin. That's a huge problem. There was no interoperability. So now we're seeing that a number of companies have realized that there's big money to be made in stable coins because Tether does, I think, trillions of dollars move through their chain, I think every month, similar to Bitcoin. and the profits that they make, even from low transaction fees that they have on all the chains, results in them making billions of dollars, like hundreds of billions of dollars, like every quarter. So other companies are jumping into the space to try and make their own stablecoins that are going to fail because stablecoins are niche, but they also the people who are into them aren't going to be like, oh my gosh, there's one in Asia. Everyone's using Tether, and to a smaller extent, they're using Circle. Also, next paragraph, we're seeing that countries are beginning to announce that they're also A, creating stablecoin legislation, B, creating their own stablecoins, and C, working with cryptocurrency companies. That was the huge significance earlier this year when we heard that from Ripple, that Ripple is working with over a dozen central banks. And the news, rumor, speculation idea is that a lot of them are going to be using XRP's blockchain for interoperability purposes. And also anyone who, I think people, I forgot what the other thing was, but there's also something aligned with XRP usage as well. So this is also, all kind of bunched together. I give it 2, 3, 4, 5 years. If hyper Bitcoinization continues to take effect, as it is probably going to do, we are going to see a lot more countries begin announcing that they're launching their own stable coins. These will probably not be used, at least not by the public. A lot of countries have already created their own stable coins. The public isn't using them because they also don't want to use them. We can make payments online through PayPal. You go to a store, things are already digital. We don't need an extra step in the middle of it. So what a lot of countries have begun to do is actually just have their central banks using the stable coin as a way to shift money around, or at least to do tests and stuff like that. But this is why we're hearing so much about all of these things, because basically money is transforming. People keep forgetting how futuristic and weird everything actually is right now. We're seeing the literal shift away from paper, into, I saw, what was it? This was a couple days ago. It wasn't a documentary, but it was something online. And somebody was mentioning something about how it's happening swiftly, but also relatively silently. You're kind of lightly pushed in the direction of buying things online now. Of course, you can still buy things in stores. Got it. But even when it comes to the idea, I don't know where you're living, but the idea of ordering groceries. I have a lot of friends now who order their groceries online. You're not really even needing to go to the supermarket to have to even think about handing them paper cash, because you can simply get it ordered online. You pay digitally. So everything is becoming more digital in this fashion. But yeah, per a report by Ryan Brown for CNBC, Disparte, who shared his outlook during an interview in London, believes the country will soon establish formal guidelines for stablecoins, which are cryptocurrencies. They are not cryptocurrencies. Stablecoins, cryptocurrencies, are coins that are decentralized. They all work under the idea of cryptography in some sort of way. The term cryptocurrencies refers to things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, these coins that are decentralized and are not permissioned. Stablecoins are usually referred to in some ways as tokens or simply as stablecoins, because they're an entirely different behemoth in and of themselves. They are ruled over and controlled by a company and soon by countries. They are permissioned. You have to ask for permission to use them. Similar to Tether, you can't go willy-nilly and just use Tether wherever you want. You have to do certain things to be able, there's a crypto exchange who buys the coins from Tether, puts it onto their exchange, but you can't do anything that you want with them. Where's this feather coming from? This weird feather just fell from the sky. I waved it away, and it's just floating in front of the computer screen. I'm not understanding how this is happening. Where'd that feather come from? I don't have a feather pillow. Okay. Disparte, I'm not joking either. It came out of nowhere. Disparte emphasized that the UK's slower pace in implementing crypto laws might have been advantageous, citing events in 2022 such as the collapse of FTX, yada, 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 ba, so-and-so. He suggested that the UK's decision to delay regulation helped it avoid some of the market chaos experienced in the past years. Yes and no, and mainly no. What people mainly care about is like taxation. And also the UK is not the only country on the planet. Got it. There's a bunch of other places, even in Europe, where you can do business and have 0% crypto taxes and also already have favorable laws. So it's like I told you before, for multiple years, there's always a really weird outlook in the news where someone proposes something and they're like, this country's setting themselves up in 5 years to be amazing. And it's like, well, there's 3 other countries that already have 0% crypto taxes and they already have cryptocurrency laws. And there's a bunch of cryptocurrencies already working there. 2 years is a long time. No one's going to wait around for 2 years to be like, oh gosh, I hope the UK. No, you get up, you pack your stuff, you go somewhere else, especially if they're from the UK and they're European. You apply for, I think they have to apply for visas and stuff now. You go to mainland Europe, you do business. You find a company and a country that has low taxes or no taxes. It's cool because they didn't panic, but also you've missed 2 years of making money. People aren't going to be like, well, okay, well now they have regulation in 2026. Let's go pack our bags now. And no, you just. So cool. There's always a lot of stablecoin news, always all over the place. People talking about it. Not the most exciting thing in the world, but it is going to shape the world as we know it, because that's just the way that the future currently is. That's the UK stablecoin news. I'm not really sure. Okay. Let's move on. I think with all the exuberance and hubbub that we've been going through the last 2 weeks, everyone missed this. Everyone and their mother missed this news. And I think it's probably one of the most significant things that we've actually had for this coin in a very long time. But this was breezed over. I saw no one talking about this. Ethereum co-founder, his name is Vitalik Buterin, said that the network's next upgrade, if you've been following, this is number 13 or 14. Ethereum, for some reason, is on a roll. I don't know. Normally, we get news of 1 or 2 upgrades happening for Ethereum over the course of a year. Every month, we've heard of a brand new upgrade. This is happening. This is so-and-so. I think they're just moving a lot quicker, if I can be honest. Because other coins, as I've stated thousands of years ago, can already do the exact same thing. Ethereum has first mover, second mover advantage, where they've been out for long enough that they have a lot of money behind them, but that money won't stay there forever if you don't do anything with your chain or upgrade or make sure that it's faster. So this is why I think we're hearing constantly all these new news stories about Ethereum and what they plan on doing with the actual change. The next upgrade apparently is called the Verge. We've had the Merge. There's the Verge. Apparently, this isn't a joke. There's also one coming up called the Splurge. And there's another one. There's not Converge, but there's some other kind of, rhymey aspect to it. Called the Verge is designed to make Ethereum more secure and accessible, allowing its nodes to run on devices as small as a phone or a smartwatch. This is straight out of 2017. Back in the olden days of crypto, one of the ideas for the future was that you would basically be able to mine cryptocurrency everywhere. Really everywhere. You'd be able to do it on your camera, on your computer, on your heater. This was 2018. There was some company, I guess it didn't work out too well. They were selling like literal heaters, the things that keep your house warm. And that apparently the heat generated from it was being used to mine Bitcoin. But I think we heard about it for 2 months and then no one brought it up again. The idea was in the future that at any given time on your phone, your devices as you're traveling, you would be. So here's the idea. You would have a smartphone that is solar powered. I don't know if we're ever going to get there because Microsoft and yeah, well, whatever that company's called, and Apple and all of them, they're quite greedy. We could totally have solar powered phones by now, but the idea is that you'd have a solar powered phone or something, you can kind of lay out in the sun, and basically over the course of the day, because you are running a node or validating transactions on a blockchain, you would basically get some kickback from it. So over the course of a year, the phone would have paid for itself. And as long as you keep the phone, you'd basically be making a couple extra $100 over the course of every single month because you're validating transactions. Like that, this is literally the idea of it. And it was basically to further hyper decentralized stuff. If you have 1,000, let's start. If you have 50 nodes for Ethereum, that's cool. It is technically decentralized. But if 50 actors decide to go and unplug those machines, well, you're going to have a bad time. If you change it to proof of stake and you allow people to be able to do 32 Ether at a time, of course, it gets, there's more decentralization to a certain degree. But you also now have mining pools where people are like, hey, just dump all your coins in here. This also hurts decentralization. So how do you fix this? You have to make it so, this is why one of the proposals by Vitalik was to lower the number, to basically allow, one of the proposals, to kind of allow anyone to be able to validate transactions. They're worried about it bloating the network. It's okay if you have 30,000 people who are doing the 32 coins at a time or in their mining pools. But if you have like 8 million people all doing one Ether, it kind of slows things down to a certain degree. So apparently the next network upgrade, called the Verge, is meant to allow people to be able to run a node on their phone or their smartwatch, it says. Like that is meant to like hyper decentralize everything. The Verge aims to reduce hardware requirements using stateless verification, which will allow nodes to verify blockchain blocks without storing large amounts of data. That was something that was changed years ago for a number of blockchains as well. The original Bitcoin wallets, like on the computers, if you turned them on, they had to download the entire blockchain. So if you didn't use your wallet for 6 weeks and you turned it back on, you had to sit there and wait for it to download the entire blockchain. They changed that where like you only need like a fragment of the last couple of whatever for the actual information, but like it's changed a lot. So the idea of like not having to store large amounts of data, literally like terabytes in one place, is a huge game changer. One of Ethereum's challenges is increasing data size required to operate a node, which currently requires hundreds of gigabytes of state data, according to research. The Verge introduces stateless verification, which Buterin said will make fully verifying the chain so computationally affordable that every mobile wallet, browser wallet, and even smartwatch is doing it by default. The shift to stateless verification would mean that Ethereum nodes no longer have to store the entire blockchain, reducing the technical barriers for users, including people who are staking by themselves. I think the future of Ethereum is very bright. This is why a lot of times whenever these new coins pop up, I always tell you to be wary, because everyone always claims that they can do something that someone else can do or that they can do it better. Ethereum will probably remain the number 2 coin for as long as we have crypto. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? I'm not really sure, but especially if they make it so that you don't need 32 coins, you can do it. If individual people, if you have 1, 2, 3 Ether, and you're able to do that on your smartphone, your watch, your home computer, make passive income by yourself without having to rely on using a crypto exchange or a mining pool, and you can do it from your watch, like the future will be very, very bright for this coin. Yeah, like I said, this was completely passed over. I mean, it's understandable. There's been so much happening in a short period of time. Everyone's elated, markets moving up. Like there's so much to kind of go over. It's obvious that this would have been kind of passed over, but it's also like quite amazing news. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.